I asked Cole Cuchna, the creator and host of the amazing Dissect podcast, what his favourite tracks were from 6 of the albums he's covered on the show. This is part of a bigger conversation. If you want to see the full thing, jump over to John Denton 2, link down in the description to that one, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're about to crash through 375k. Otherwise, let's go. So the albums I picked out, of course, To Pimp A Butterfly, then My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Yeezus, Blonde, Damn, and Swimming / Circles. I've put those two together. So starting with To Pimp A Butterfly, do you have a standout favorite track?
Yeah, I always like the depressing ones. It's got to be You for me. As much as I can't listen to this song, it's just from an emotional production level, like everything about the song just really moves me. It's one of those uniquely songs that only Kendrick can make, and so yeah, You got to be my favorite.
Phenomenal. For me, it's we spoke about this with the Mallories when we did the show the other week, but yeah, we ended up at how much a dollar cost, but we could probably argued about it for the rest of time and never come to a satisfying answer. Right, now this is one that, you know, is another tricky one in Twisted Fantasy. I've got mine, but I don't want to reveal it just yet. I did a whole video trying to find my favorite of all of Kanye, favorite song on each Kanye album. So yeah, how about you?
Yeah, man, I would say it's between Runaway and Devil in a New Dress.
This is the correct answer. It's the only answer.
And I want to say both because they're thematically and sonically related. If you listen to the podcast on those two songs, it's one of the most incredible discoveries I've made on the podcast, I think, about the connection between the songs. But man, I've got to go Runaway. Only because, like, what other song before or since sounds like Runaway?
No.
Like, it is a unique, singular, only Kanye West can make this song. And maybe just that might just push it over the edge for me, because obviously you can almost pick every song on this album.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, I was torn between those two as well, but ended up in the same place as you. Can you remember where you were when you heard that for the first time?
No, I can't. I can't.
Yeah,
Do you?
I do, weirdly. Okay. I would listen to that in my old job working on the magazines when it came out. And yeah, I remember just stopping when I was already blown away by this point by the record. I couldn't believe how good it was. And then at that moment, just when obviously the extremely famous first piano note hit, just stopping everything that I was doing while, you know, hustle and bustle was going on around me. I was just in this moment on my own. And yeah, I just completely blown away. And it's since gone on to blow me away so many more times, weirdly, despite having heard it so many times. Well, keeping on Kanye then, Yeezus.
It might shock people, and it might even be my favorite Kanye West song. It's I'm In It, which I know is not the popular pick, but I'm like a musician, I'm a production guy. Like, the production on that song is fucking phenomenal. If you haven't listened to it in a while, go listen to I'm In It. Focus on the production.
I'm going to listen to it after this.
It's like, I mean, again, it's like the Runaway conversation. Like, if you just listen to the production, like, think like, what sounds like this? There's like all these beat changes. There's a tempo change. The way it builds, there's a fucking barking dog as a snare drum. Like, it's just insane. It's just another song that like only Kanye West can make. And for whatever reason, I know this is definitely not his most popular at all, but I've always loved that. It's the one that gets me going the most in the car, just turned up, you know, to 100.
Yeah, I need to spend some more time with that song because, yeah, I've moved from, it was New Slaves for ages, and I've kind of moved, then it was Blonde Lees for ages, and I've kind of moved into Hold My Liquor a little bit now, but I can't even remember what I said on my video now, but it changes all the time. Like I said, I'm never married. You know, my opinion can change. I'm never married to my opinions on music. They can change, but yeah, I'm going to spend some more time with that track. I think after what you said.
For me, like, it's like denoting favorite versus best. I would not pick I'm In It as the best song on Yeezus, but if I'm being honest about what my favorite is, it's I'm In It.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because you become a bit more detached and a bit more objective, especially
Yeah.
if your music theory, with your music theory background as well. Then I'd imagine you can detach a little bit further from the stuff that
Right.
that truly affects you. But yeah, for this, it is purely favorite. I think
Right.
for this little one, this little game. Okay, then 3 to go. Blonde.
Self-Control.
Mm-hmm.
That song, for whatever reason, if you ever get songs that just like, there's a few Kendrick songs that are like this for me. It's just automatic tears. Like just every fucking time there's just tears.
Yeah.
Self-Control, particularly the end of Self-Control when the strings come in, and then that's that famous like I da, 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 da. Like every time I hear that part, it's chills. I did a whole episode on what like why music gives you chills, and it's inspired by this moment in the song because I get chills every single time I hear this moment in the song. It's such a beautiful song. The production's weird and beautiful and great. It's again like uniquely Frank Ocean. I love that song.
I also love that song. It's for me though. It's Ivy, which isn't one that's spoken about that much. I've not noticed. I know people like the track, but again, you talk about those songs. The instant I can't, I can almost not listen to it. There's something about the combination of the nostalgia that it stirs up in me as I get older. That's kind of like looking back at the happy moments of being very very young, and I often, without going too much into it, but we're here right now. There's a part of me that often feels like I had a different life and my life changed at one point, and I yearn for to be that person once again that I was when I was very young. And the second that I first, I mean, I'm so fortunate it's on video, but the second I first heard that beginning of that song, boom, I was done in a way that is very rare. I mean, I cry a lot on my videos because music opens something up in me, but I don't normally, in real life, I'm relatively stoic. But music just allows some of that pain to get out of me, I think. So I always welcome it, even though it can be a little bit much to be on video sometimes. No, it's not much, but it's just people, we're growing up as men, we're told not to cry.
Yeah.
So suddenly doing it on camera that
I'm the same
600,000
way.
people have watched. Yeah.
I recently, but during my first impressions episode on Mr. Morale, I started crying for a slight second. So I think I'm the same way. Just music reaches a part of me that just no other thing
Yeah.
is able to tap into.
I used to push against that, I think, and be embarrassed by it. Movies are the same for me. And now recently I'm just going, I think this is actually exactly what I need. Do you know what I mean? I actually, this is my body's way of helping me. But okay, 2 to go. Kendrick Lamar's Damn.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
It's between XXX and probably Duckworth.
Okay.
Duckworth, oh man. Duckworth is just so phenomenal. It hits every mark, like narratively, it wraps up the entire album. Sonically, it's like 3 or 4 beat switches that are seamless and perfect. Storytelling, it's like this unique story, like conceptually, it like ties up the whole, like, it's like everything you want from a Kendrick Lamar like song, it hits the mark. XXX, I think, is just it's almost like what Mad City does on Good Kid Mad City, where it's like this very vivid sonic painting of like Mad City is a sonic painting of Compton. I feel like XXS is like a sonic painting of America, specifically like the Black experience in America, but just the vivid, just critical lens he puts on this country. There's just something about it that it just captures something. But I think I probably would have to go Duckworth. What about you?
For me, I think we came to the decision on that video with Terrence and Terrell that it was Feel for me. But I was really torn between a number of songs on there. I think we might have decided amongst ourselves that it was Humble because we kind of tried to come to a consensus, as impossible as that is, and various factors were involved. But we weren't just doing pure favorites. We were kind of bringing in the best song argument at the same time. But every time, from the first time I heard it, and the first time I heard Damn, in fact, and you talk about how only Kanye West could have created Runaway. I mean, only Kendrick Lamar could have created Damn, and of course all of his records. But this was the first record I really spent time with from this artist, and I listened to plenty of hip hop in my life and plenty of rap, but I'd never heard it sound like this. And the different stylistic choices, the different production choices, the different genre choices as well. Before I even got into lyricism, and then before I got into the kind of narrative elements of the album, which I didn't know existed for months. I don't think I even realized there was any sort of narrative, even though there's clearly something happening at the beginning of the record, but I didn't really think about it. But over time, Feel does something visceral to me that I can't quite explain. But yeah, there's many on there, and the ones you XXX I've not spent enough time with, to be honest. And I think maybe that's just because as a Brit, I just can't stand Bono, but he does a great job on this song. But just
Right, yeah.
it's always put me off a little bit. But yeah, Duckworth, obviously an incredible track, and because it's at the end of the record, I don't think I ever, it is. You put on a record, you end up getting 2/3 of the way through, and then you're doing something else with your day. I didn't spend enough time with that song purely because of its placement until enough people started really saying, no, this is the best song on the album. And so I've spent more time with it since. And yeah, it's a phenomenal track. Right, it's technically a 2-for-1 here, but Swimming and Circles, where are you out?
Considering both albums, I'd have to say, man, that's tough. 2009 is incredible. And is it 2009? It might be 2009. Let's just go 2009.
It is 2009. You're correct.
Maybe I'm overthinking it. Yeah. I mean, Good News is the one I was debating in my head, because that song's really phenomenal. As John Bryant production, which is one of my favorite producers ever. But 2009 just has that magic quality to it. It's just, and then you learn that he freestyled most of it. So that's just kind of like phenomenal. It's just such a song from the heart. It's one of those almost like a Frank Ocean type song where it like really captures someone's past and their growth and their nostalgia and their genuine kind of appreciation for life, amongst its struggles. Like, it has everything you'd want from a song. And that string intro too, holy shit, that is like such a beautiful intro. Shout out Adrian Grant that composed that. But yeah, it's got to be 2009.
Yes, for me as well. And the other one is Good News for me, which obviously when it came out with the video as well was like,
I remember watching the video on that. Yeah,
devastating, just absolutely devastating. Yeah. But what 2009 again, playing into that kind of a nostalgia, almost like a simulacrum, something nostalgic simulacrum, almost like, I mean, in 2009 I was 27. I don't have any youthful memories of 2009. I was already old. I nearly had kids. But him talking about that time, it took me to a place that didn't exist for me, but I felt it. I felt what he was feeling so much. I physically feel it in myself, and I still do when I listen to that track. And it just allows me to, it's just a magical feeling. And I mean, yeah, I'm going to go back and listen to your episode on it, I think, to try and figure out why. Sometimes I don't. I mean, sometimes I almost don't want to know why I feel certain ways that I do. And sometimes, actually, most of the time I really do. That's kind of my whole personality. But
I think for me, like 2009, is because everyone has the door, right? Like, his door is different. You say you relate to the song despite it being about his life. But it's like, when he says, I know what's behind that door, like, we all have the door. Whatever that is in your life, whatever monumental, pivotal shift that you could point back to and say, that was the moment everything changed, that led to this thing, to this thing. It's like, we all have that. And I think that's why, to me, there's that universal kind of grounding of the song, despite it being specifically about his life. Like, I mean, that's what all great musicians, artists do, is they tap into the universal through their specific experience and being as honest as possible about their experience. I think that allows, like, it opens the door for like human to human connection. If you can feel the authenticity and the vulnerability, the very real expression of human experience, like, I think we just are wired to for whatever reason, it just like gets under our skin in a way that I feel like only art can.
I don't think we could wrap this episode up any better than you just have, Cole. That was beautiful, mate. So yeah, Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me to chat through this. Thank you so much for picking your best songs. I think we're all excited for what's coming up next for Dissect. Quickly before I let you go, like, what are the plans, without talking about specific seasons, but like, what are you looking at next for Dissect?
Yeah,
where do you see it going?
Season 10 is coming up, so that's like kind of a big milestone for the show. So that'll be coming out, I think, August, and then in the next couple of weeks, I don't know when this is going up, but I'm going to be announcing a new show that will come out actually before season 10. It's a little bit different format, so I'm excited to announce that pretty soon.
Do people know about that, or have you spoken about that already?
I've not spoken about that at all yet. So this would be the first tease I've even given.
Look at that. Massive exclusive.
Coming, yeah. Yes. So.
Brilliant. Well, we can't wait for that. I think people are going to be buzzing just to watch this episode of this isn't even a show. It's just I'm doing these interviews. So thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. I've absolutely loved it. And guys, you know how it works. Subscribe to me, obviously, but mainly go and I'm sure you already are, but go and follow the Dissect podcast over on Spotify. Make sure you're catching up with all the episodes. If you've never listened to it, oh my God, you've got so many hours of incredible content. So I'm jealous. But make sure to, where can they find you on socials?
Just at Dissect Podcast, whatever, the big ones.
The brand is strong. It's everywhere. Right. Thanks so much, Cole. And guys, we'll catch you on the next one. All right. Peace.